Independence Day.
Isn't it tomorrow?
Well, there's a story behind that.
Got it. Okay, so I know it's right both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's both.
Welcome to the Get Up Girl podcast. I am your gal and your host, Joanna Vargas, and we are live here on all the channels where you can watch the video. So if you are listening to this podcast and you like to see things, if you're a visual person, please hop over to my Facebook page or YouTube and you can watch us live there. So I'm here with Salome Valdez, and this is Two Chicks and a Mic. Bring this to you every month where she and I just talk. We talk about what's in our world, what's coming up, and gift you different tools that you can use in your life that will help shift and create more. And are you willing to actually create more for your life? I was listening to a podcast this morning and she was talking about that, about like, are we really willing to have more? Or are we like, I'm good, I just want a little bit more? No, like more. And we're taught to not want more. There must be something wrong with us if we want more. And I noticed that, Salome, because every time I'll post something on Instagram and I'll talk about, would you like more possibilities? It doesn't ring for people. It's almost like I could feel it, like people are like, more? I'm not supposed to want more. I'm supposed to be good. I'm noticing that. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then I heard that on the podcast this morning. So Salome, tell us about your outfit as well, because we just started chatting as we went live.
I was about to say something in lines of what you were gonna talking about wanting more, but I'll talk about that in a bit. Yes, it's Mexican Independence Day. It's Mexico Independence Day. Viva Mexico! And it's pretty much it's like a 2-day thing. It's 15th and the 16th. I know a lot of people get a lot of confused, but the grito was actually set on the 16th, but they celebrated on the 15th, so it's both days.
Mhm.
Yes. I would like to talk
Wait,
about.
no, tell us about your outfit.
Oh yeah.
I was wondering about the outfit.
What are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Yeah, who are you wearing?
My mom got me these earrings for my birthday, and this is the first time I'm wearing them. I thought, oh, it goes really well with my slightly light burgundy top, Mexican top with embroidered flowers, colorful flowers on it. I have a lot of Mexican tops. I'm very prideful, but I love wearing these kinds of tops, and I thought, why not wear it right now and make it memorable that it was 15 de septiembre.
You know what I never asked you? Did you ever dance folklorico?
I did when I was a child, and I've been really thinking about going back and doing it again. It's a really fun dance and workout as well. And my mom still did it for years. She just recently stopped doing it, and I think I would love to do it again. It's a lot of footwork and a lot of stamina.
It's an arm workout, holding up those skirts.
The skirts are very heavy. Yes, they are.
Yeah, so anybody listening, folklorico is a dance from Mexico, but then I also did flamenco. I did Jalisco with the white. Anyway, so my mom, I remember her, she had my sister and myself, and she would sew the costumes. And so it's two big circles. So she would be in the living room and she would lie out the material and she'd make a big circle, right? And then she would make another circle. So each skirt needed two circles so that when you held it up all the way to the top, you know, if you can't see me, but that's how the skirts can make those big circles and waves. Oh my gosh. And then holding that up at 8 years old and your arms, and I'd be like, my arms hurt. Yeah, I had some guns at 8 years old.
Yeah, it was like 9 when I did it too.
Okay, we gotta find photos. I was thinking about that. I'm like, where are my photos? And then my mom made me like these trenzas, like these fake braids. It looks so cheesy. If you looked close up, it was made out of yarn.
Yeah, made out of yarn, yep.
And it had a headband on it. Oh my gosh. But just don't look close. From far away, it looks really cool. So anyway, okay, great. Let's jump into why are we talking about this? About what is your reality? So tell me about the story that you brought up today that we wanted to chat about.
I've been so inspired by these different interviews that I've been watching. Now, if you haven't heard yet, Brandon Fraser is back in the game. He's back in Hollywood. In my mind, he never left. I've always been a fan of his, but he was blacklisted from Hollywood. He was part of that list of celebrities that have been blacklisted and you no longer see on movies and stuff like that. there's a new movie that is out or is going to be out, and it's called The Whale. And I just recently watched an interview with the whole cast, and the director and writer were talking. The director said, for some reason, 10 years ago, he thought that it wouldn't be a good time to do it. Now, this is his words directly. He said that 10 years later, casting Brandon Fraser was the right time, the right actor, the right person to do it. And I think, wow, isn't that fascinating how something was in the making for 10 years and then now it's like a full explosion with this movie. Now I wonder if he would have made it when he thought about the movie, what would have been the solution of that? Would it have been another actor? Maybe it wouldn't have been as big as now. So that's my awareness with this interview, and I thought, man, this is pretty amazing, because there's been a lot of times too with myself. For those that don't know, I have a dance company, and I think about ideas, and there's been ideas where I still have in my list, and I haven't used them yet, but I take them out when I think, oh, this feels all right to do it, you know. So that's pretty much my awareness that I've had so far. And when I was watching this interview, I just started to think and question, like, wow, I wonder how what he was thinking about and what he was feeling, and what made him think that this was the time to do it.
That makes me think about creations in my life and all creations where sometimes they're not ready to be born yet, but they
Mm,
do want to be born, or they're ready to be born to somebody else. I mean,
mm,
an idea person. I'm an ideator. Is that what you call it? Ideation. That's one of my big strengths finders. If you've done the strengths finders test, one of my 6 highest strengths is ideas. It's number 1 for me. Ideation, where I can come up with ideas over and over and over again. But there's many times where I know it's not going to create the most if I create them at that moment, or are they for me? Sometimes they just want to be born, but maybe it's not for me, it's for somebody else. Or, I can give that idea to somebody else, or I just know, cool, this idea wants to be born and it'll jump to somebody else. And it's being willing, Salome, to be the person that's looked on as flighty. Like, oh, Joanna, don't you want to do this? And my awareness is it's not right now. Because I'll ask, would you like to go now? Would you not like to? Okay, yes, no. And it's like a yes, no, I'll get. And it's really teaching my body how to give me the yes, no
mm,
um, feeling. So, because I know that many times I'm looked at as like, Joanna, come on, what are you waiting for? And I'm going to use this as an example, Salome. Like the speaking engagements. I'm starting to speak on stage. And this is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time, at least 12 years, because I can remember the moment when I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to speak on stages. But it just wasn't the time yet. It wasn't going to create the most at that moment for me. And now I feel like I'm the overnight success of a speaker that took 25 years. It took 25 years, but it feels like everybody's like, wow, you're so great on the mic. You're a speaker. Nah, of course you've spoken before. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, I've been on the mic a gazillion times, but I've never officially been on stage and spoken, if you know what I mean, right? I'll jump in, but thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours I've been on the microphone.
yeah.
And then so it's an overnight success that took 25 years in the making. But if I would have chosen it, Salome, at 12 years ago, just like the director from the Brandon Fraser, The Well movie, it's like it probably would have not looked the same. I would have not had the same journey. It wasn't going to create what it created now. So I like to ask, what is going to create the future I desire? What's going to like create it to the best that I could see right now? And it wasn't that. So anything else that comes to mind for you when you have a creation, an idea that wants to be born, and it's like, should I do this? And you start to jump into other people's realities of, yes, you should do it. You're going to lose it. What if somebody else does it?
Oh, yes, so many times. I've had my great supporters kind of tell me, "Yeah, you should do it now. It's what if you're not able to do it later? You know, things like that." And then I start thinking, "Oh, maybe it's true." Oh, I start feeling bad. Oh, I'm gonna do it for them. Then I start thinking, I'm gonna do it for them, not for
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
Then I start thinking like that too. So that's something that I've definitely gone better at, and separating those emotions as well. And it's been really good because I feel really good with the choices.
What comes up to me is the scarcity mindset. It's like the
Mm,
scarcity. If I don't do it right now, this is the last opportunity I'm ever going to get.
mm,
I have to take it. I have to do it. I'm going to use this as an example, Salome. I was asked to speak at that event, an event last week. And when I was asked, I went into scarcity. I automatically said, oh my God, I have to do it. Because if I say no, I'm going to lose this opportunity. And this is the only one I'm ever going to get. I have to do it. I have to do it. And then I took a pause. I'm like, wait, Joanna, ask a question. You haven't even asked a question yet. You went right into conclusion that this is the only event and I have to do it because this is the only way that's going to lead me to what I would like to do on stages.
mm,
So I took a pause. I asked a question, like, if I choose this, will it create the future I desire? And I kept getting a yes, Salome. I kept getting a yes, even though it was like, oh my gosh, I have to get a sub. I have an event. I have all these things that I have to do on paper. Logically, it seemed like I should say no.
mm,
Logically, Joanna, you don't have the time. You're so busy. Logically, I was going to burn myself out. But I kept getting a yes. I kept getting a choose this, choose this, choose this. I was going to scarcity. Like, I have to do this now. I chose it and it was so light and ease, right? And so that's one thing about the scarcity. I also wrote down reality jumper. I'm a reality jumper. And I know you are too, Salome. Most of us are. Most of us are until we actually, I'm going to say, just know it or admit it or say it out loud. But I jump into other people's realities all the time. I jump into their worlds and I take on what they think I should do.
mhm,
Right. So if everybody around me is like, Joanna, you should do this event and come on, or you should start this business, or come on, you should do this, or this party, you should do it. I learned not to jump into the reality anymore because I used to jump and I but yeah, they're right. I have to do it. I could see what they saw. I don't jump I'll jump, but now I pause and I'll know when I'm jumping and go, okay. But it's willing, Salome, for me, and you tell me if it's different for you. It's willing for me to be looked on as like, oh, Joanna, she's missing out.
Just, uh-huh.
She's missing out. Like if your friends are like, Salome, you should do this. Are you willing to take you're crazy, Salome, you need to do this? I think they're just projecting their own things onto you. So what do you think about that?
I absolutely agree with that because and it's been the okay of me taking it and willing to take that and willing for them to say that. It was hard for me at first because I thought so much about what are they going to say? They're not going to believe in me. They don't believe,
Not gonna believe in me.
whole thing, the judgment. And it doesn't have to be bad judgment. Like judgment isn't always a bad thing. It's just the way of thinking or how they look towards me or what the reputation I have and stuff. So yeah, no, I that made it easier for me. It was like liberating when I decided or took the choice to be okay with that. Be okay with whatever they were gonna think.
I just had a big aha. It's like
Mm.
I'm not a yes girl, but I'm a yes girl when somebody believes in me.
Mm.
So when somebody believes, Joanna, you could do this, you're so great at this, I'll say yes because they believe in me. But I'm not really a yes girl to say yes to everything, but I'm the yes girl in the other way. I never really saw it that way until this moment right now.
Mm.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, so let's go back to Brandon Fraser and about choosing what other people choose. So, what is your reality? So, the director of the movie The Well, his reality was to choose it 10 years later. But if everybody else's reality is like, no, you should do this now. You have this great script. We need to fund it. We're losing money. Go ahead.
Even if Brandon Fraser was on the blacklist, he chose him.
Chose him. It was his reality. And
Mhm.
in this reality, though, we could hear, do what you want to do, forget what everybody else thinks. Like all those sayings we've heard already, and they're not working. At least for me, they worked. Salome, they were a band-aid for many, many, many years. It worked. And then I hit a ceiling and I'm like, okay, but I'm still taking a step forward and two back. I'm still taking 2 steps forward and 4 back. What's going on here, Joanna? What's going on? I had to really make the demand of me going, okay, I've done self-development for 15 years and I'm still stuck. What is this?
Mhm.
And that's when I went on that journey and go, oh, that's what the Get Up Girl teaches. We teach different tools here that are different than this reality because those are just band-aids. They're band-aids. They're going to take you. And if they're working for you, great. And if they light you up, great. And if you're looking for more, then we're your gals.
Well, the different perspectives as well, Joanna. I think that also when we talk, we explore within ourselves. It just happened right now when you said, "Oh, I didn't even notice that about that I'm this person," and I've done that before too when we're speaking, and especially with this Two Chicks and a Mic episodes. And that's what I love about our conversations, that we're not afraid to say "uh-oh" or "ooh" all moments live, because that's why I love these conversations, because we're learning while we're speaking. We're exploring. We're choosing too while we're speaking. And this is why I always tell our audience, this is a conversation that we invite everybody to also explore with us. Like, even though you're not live speaking to us, something might be an aha moment for you as well while you're listening to this.
I'm writing down some notes because when I or you have that little, oh, those moments
Yeah.
where you said it's live,
Mhm.
every time I'm like, I look up and I'm like, huh, I could feel when I'm lying to myself. Every
Oh.
time I stop myself, I could feel the lies as they're coming out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, that's a lie. Oh, I never saw it that way. And
Mhm.
I have discernment of when I'm lying and
Mhm.
when it feels correct.
Mhm.
Like it feels, oh, this is it. This is my awareness. Oh, this is a lie. I'm just lying. But many times we're taught, or we are taught, that a lie means that we know that we're lying. Don't lie.
Mhm.
But did you know that most of the time we're lying, but we don't even know we're lying? We're lying to ourselves. We don't even know that we're buying the BS junk. So this director could have bought the lie that he had to make that movie right away. He could have bought the lie that if you put Brandon Fraser in, it's going to ruin your movie. Like, and he knew that. Again, I haven't talked to him, but I'm just assuming he knew that that was a lie. Like, no, trust me, it's going to be great. Like he just knew. Gosh, and I wonder if more of us chose from our awareness the way he did, how differently and easeful our lives would be. They're not easy. It wouldn't be easy, but it would be more easeful. This last week when I spoke on that stage, it was not easy. That weekend was not easy. And it was easeful. And that's a big difference. And I was looking for easy, Salome. That's when I
Mhm.
went into that conclusion and like I shouldn't do it because I was looking for easy. And I'm like, wait, will this be easeful and challenging? I got a
Mhm.
yes. And I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Mhm.
Ooh, what else? Okay. What else is this Brandon Fraser? I keep jumping in, but what else can we explore?
Uh, well, from the Brandon Fraser perspective, when he's been blacklisted, I also wonder what his feelings were as well, his choices with him being blacklisted.
Mm,
Now, him taking on that.
mm. I am unfamiliar. Did something happen that people didn't want to hire him anymore?
Well, there was a few things that happened. So, again, this is from what I've read. Again, there could be so million things, right? Million reasons, but One reason is that he doing all the mummy movies, he got really injured from his back. And he decided I can't do anything anymore. He had to go through like intense medical care for
Mm.
his back because of all the mummy movies. That I mean, we've seen them. He did his own stunts and stuff. So with that, he had to kind of lay low. Also, there was this very powerful Hollywood person who ended up uh, saying that he Brandon Fraser was somehow involved in a sexual assault, but also other celebrities uh, said that they backed him up and said no, that's not true, and this powerful person made it happen and made this huge thing about it. But apparently, he's the powerful person also did it to other celebrities, something along the lines. There's so many things that happen. Also, Brendan Fraser is like an activist for a lot of things too. So there you go. He was put on the blacklist with other celebrities. So that's the one thing that I again not like my do not use this information that I'm giving you, but this is something along the lines that I read. So that's what happened. So my question is, when he was blacklisted, what I wonder if he felt like a if that makes any sense. And I like people cannot see what I'm doing, but I'm kind of breathing and thinking maybe I'll just take this on,
Mm.
you know, and then come back when I feel like it.
I get it.
Does that
Yes,
make sense?
because we create our reality. We
Yeah,
create our worlds. And
because he
um
was big time. He did a lot back in the day.
yeah, I
He's
wonder if
never.
he really wanted to get back in, that he would have gotten back in. But it was like, ooh, I'm gonna use this to my quote unquote advantage because I just want to breathe and take a break. Yes. Just like getting sick. I mean, come on, everybody, let's get real. When you get the flu, when you get COVID, you're like, okay, yay, I get to take a week off. I mean, come on, let's get real. How I think that all the time. Every time I get the flu, I'm like, it sucks having the flu, Joanna, and I get a vacation.
Let me just add to that. With Brandon Fraser, all his movies, he was quote unquote fit, and he had to be fit, and he had to always work out. You know, these celebrities, they always have to work out for a part, for a music video, for a concert. J Lo, you've seen it. They're like, I'm not like this 24/7. J Lo has said it before. You know, she's like, I only do this when I have to do a part or something. You know, and I think all celebrities pretty much are like that, except The Rock. Dwayne, I follow him on Instagram. No, this guy works out every time he's on
Yeah, at
vacation.
3 a.m. He's an alien. I love
Mark
it.
Wahlberg. You know, there's
Yeah,
people
Mark
like
Wahlberg.
that.
He keeps going earlier and earlier. He's now the 2:30 a.m. club. Yeah.
But there are people like Brandon Fraser or some people that just they just get fit or quote unquote fit for the certain parts in the movies. Now he did gain weight,
Mhm.
but
He
what
got
if he
so-
wanted to?
Yeah.
Because I know Hugh Jackman, when he retired from the X-Men movies, he said, I am more excited about eating a hamburger.
Yeah.
He said, I'm so excited that I don't have to work out anymore. That's not my thing.
And I wonder, Salome, if Brandon Fraser, if that was his reality at that moment. It could change a gazillion times, but I wonder if right now his reality is being a little overweight, having extra weight on his body. I wonder if that's his reality for right now. And being all fit was maybe not his reality at that moment. But we're supposed to. It's like this. No, but you're a star and you should like look like this.
Uh-uh.
You get that energy that I'm bringing up, right? And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
you know what? This is what I would actually like, because if we want to know what our reality or what we would like in our lives, just look at our lives. Even though you're going, I wouldn't pick this. No, I actually want to live on a beach. Well, you can. There's something, there is a purpose that you are receiving from what you are choosing.
Uh-huh.
So, for what purpose are you choosing this? For example, I really want a house on the beach. I really, 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 really do. Okay. And then I go, okay, I'm not choosing it because I could choose it a million different ways. I can get an Airbnb. I could just sleep on the beach. I don't even need a house. I could literally just go sleep on the beach. I mean, I could do so many different things. So what's the purpose of not choosing it?
Oh my God. Okay. But going back to Brendan Fraser, I just thought about something right now too. So his movie is actually about being overweight.
Mm.
And they even had to do prosthetics and make him bigger and stuff like that. So literally, this is the first movie that it's like, okay, for you to be overweight, and we're gonna make you look even bigger. Now, uh, again, maybe that's why he took the role. I don't know, but he in his interviews, he seems like such a different person, Joanna.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And like I even teared up because I kind of felt like his heart. Like I just felt like he just knew that this was a time. Like, let's do this kind of attitude.
Mm.
Like grateful, humble. I mean, he's always been a humble person, but just the way he was, it was like a different humble Brandon Fraser that I haven't seen before. I mean, they felt really welcoming, and when they gave him a standing ovation, like a 6 minute standing ovation. I'll send you the video later, but he's like tearing up, and he just can't believe all these people just clapping for him for this movie. The
Wow.
love is big right now for him.
Hmm. He's also in another movie I just saw, but I forget the title. Anyway, but yeah, and I saw him and he looked, I wouldn't have barely recognized
Yeah.
him. I was like, wow, but I could feel like the happiness for him.
Mhm.
Yeah. I do want to circle back around and then we'll put a bow on this.
Yes.
About the question, what is your reality?
Mhm.
Here's another thing I'm noticing, that when I talk about this, I could see people go, what do you mean? What do you mean my reality? Like, this is my reality. What are you talking about, Joanna? Like, I don't get it. Okay. I'm going to kind of just give a little example this way.
Mm.
When we put on those goggles and they have that new virtual reality, like that's going to be the future where we wear these contacts in our eyes and you could do anything. It's the same thing of you have this reality of this planet, and then you have virtual reality, and then you have everybody else's reality. So I see it like as a point of view. The way somebody's looking at it is that's their reality. Then I have Salome's reality. Then we have this reality of this
Mhm.
planet. Then we have, I mean, there's so many different realities. But, and I'm going to speak for myself, I was taught to think that everybody's reality is the same. Since I can
Mhm.
see it, we're all the same.
Mhm.
I could see my computer, that's everybody's reality. I could see my lights, that's everybody's reality. Like, isn't this the reality? Yeah, but
Well,
if you were to put on those virtual reality glasses, I'm telling you, you think you're in a different reality. And now I'm looking at you at the glasses going, you are just standing in the middle of a room doing something by yourself. You just, your hands are flailing, but you have these glasses on, but they so believe and know that they're in a different reality.
well, already we have people that see different colors.
Yeah. So is it black or is it
Yeah.
blue? Yeah. So what
Mhm.
reality? I mean, those little examples I'm using, those are logical examples, but also just, I wonder if we can open up and go, hey, what if there's a gazillion different realities, just not the one that you see? And which one's yours?
Mhm.
Because so many times we could jump into other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And one of the number one questions I get, Salome, I don't get it as much anymore, but I got it more in like my 20s and 30s. How did you do what you did, Joanna? Gosh, didn't your parents want you to go to college? Like, don't they want you to get married? Like all that?
Oh, we get that all
How
the time too.
did, they're like, how did you do it? Because my mom wants me to do XYZ and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I never understood that, Salome, because I always went from my reality. Not always, most of the time. I was like, oh, that was my mom's reality. I didn't jump in there. I would jump in other realities, but
Mm.
we all reality jump and then we buy it as ours and then we think that we have to choose it. I have to
Right.
choose this. Brandon Fraser is blacklisted, so I have to not hire him as well because everybody's reality, he is blacklisted. Using that as an example.
Yeah. Mhm.
What is your reality? And if you keep asking it, when you ask what and how questions, the what will show up, the how will show up more and more because the universe, I'm going to say it right now, has a bazillion different ways that it wants to support you. A bazillion, gazillion, billion, trillion, million, thousands different ways it wants to show up.
And
So
shout out to the Marvel movies that came up with the multi-universe because I mean, come on. There's
and I
gotta
wonder if we can really use these movies as like, what if it really is? It's not just a movie. What if really you have a million different realities, and which one would you like today? And is your reality that I'm blacklisted and this is forever?
Uh-huh.
What's your reality? What's your reality? And the more you keep asking it, God, life, universe will show you what it is. And it's going to change every single 10 seconds. It's going to change. It's going to change. It's going to change. It's going to change. That's why you're like, Brendan Fraser, he's so different. Yes. I hope that I look back on this video in 5 minutes, in 5 years, in 50 years and go, dang, who is that Joanna? I don't even know who she is. I don't even want to recognize her because I know I'm going to have a million different realities by the time 5 seconds later comes up. Right?
Remember that song? And I keep listening to it. It's like, oh shoot, I never really felt this way about this song until now when I listened to it when I was a teenager or whatever. I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, and it's like she says a lot of things. She's a lot of things.
I'm all of it. Yes. Oh, her name was what's her name? Michelle something. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. But and she says all these different things that also contradicts themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's all of it. We're all of it.
Alanis Morissette, when she shoot, oh my god, how can I not? Because I just watched
we know all the songs by heart.
I know, but you know when she sings about also being broke and being happy and being healthy, and she's everything too. So I now just recently in my 30s or right now late 30s, when I listen to these songs, dang, I mean I love them even more. And it's like, wow, they were going somewhere, but I didn't hear it back then. I didn't hear it. I definitely didn't hear it.
And I wonder if you heard it, but just in a different way. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you heard it, something was there and it was stirring up, but maybe just hear it on a different reality, like now. Because a lot of times people say, I don't have time to listen to podcasts, etc. And I'm like, if you put them in the background, trust me, it's getting in. If you fall asleep with the TV on, it's getting in. If you think it's not getting in, it's getting in. You don't need to focus on it. It's getting in. It's so freaking powerful. I listen to books in the background, really low. You can barely hear them. People are like, how are you understanding what the book's about? I'm like, trust me, I am that magical that I could hear it from that far away, this low, it's getting in. I don't need to understand it on a cognitive, logical way. I know that we're that magical that I'm getting it. So I just wonder that you and I, when we were listening to Alanis Morissette back in the mid 90s, that we got it in a different way, but we didn't even know how we were getting it yet because it was talking to us. I remember the first moment I listened to Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. I was in my car, my little Geo Metro. I think it was, seriously, I think it was February of 1995, or maybe even May, dude. I bet you. When did it come out? And the day it came out on that Tuesday, I listened to it. Are you Googling it? And
no, 95.
Yeah, but what month?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. The month. I'm like, I think it was even because I knew where I was at the time. I think it was May of 1995, and I was in my car, and I listened to that album on my lunch break from beginning to end. And I knew, I'm like, there's something here. Yep. What the heck? From the moment the first note hit, it's freaking magical. So
One Hand in My Pocket is the one that I'm talking about, because she's saying all these things that are contradicting at the same time, but at the same time, she still has that one hand in my pocket. Meaning she's still the person that she is, but she just has all these things, which is completely okay. And which something that you and I always talk about, how it's totally okay to be everything. You don't just have to label yourself to one thing.
Yeah. What if somebody calls me lazy? Well, you are lazy and you are a hard worker. You're both. So who cares? What if somebody calls me a bitch? Well, you are one and you're also nice. You're both. Who cares? Like, yeah, I'm lazy. I am so lazy. And I'm a freaking hard worker. I'm both. So once we know that we're both, when somebody calls you a name, you're not going to care. And it just hit me that we're going to we're turning this podcast into 2 parts. So
yeah.
thank you for listening to part 2, everybody. Yeah, because we went a little bit longer. Anything
Oh,
else before we wrap this up, Salome?
oh no, well, I was gonna continue to talk about the Jagged Little Pill album because then you just opened up another topic right now.
Right, next time. Yeah,
We'll have another part 3 or something.
part 3. But I know with things of that nature, we are so aware that when we hear magic. I heard magic. I didn't hear an album. I knew I was hearing magic. I couldn't articulate it like that
No.
at 17 years old, but I knew there was something there. I'm like, this is different. You walk into a room, you know when there's magic. You meet people, you could feel magic. We could feel magic. When you saw that interview with Brandon Fraser, there was magic. And you're like, I can't even explain it. Yes, if we can't explain it, there's magic there. Yeah. And so when you ask the question, you're like, I didn't hear it, but yeah, did we hear magic? And we just didn't know it was magic yet. That's cool because I never really thought of it that way. I just always said, that's my favorite album of all time. It's so great. Magic.
Yep.
Yeah. And side note, there is a documentary, and Alanis Morissette is in it. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I forget what it's called, but it talks about people that are empathic and people that feel everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, everything that we talk about here. And so Alanis talks about that. And that's why she stopped touring. She stopped touring in the late 90s because she's so highly empathic. She would feel everybody's thoughts, feelings, and emotions when she was on stage, and it just wore her out. She's so freaking psychic. She's so freaking empathic. She'd get sick. I mean, she'd get depressed. Everybody thought she was crazy, et cetera, et cetera. And finally she learned, she's like, oh, I'm just highly empathic. So now she learns everybody on her team. She tells them, I need downtime. I need to do this. I can't talk to you. Like, it's just too much. So she's learning different ways of how she can be. And so I thought that was really cool. And that's why she made magic, because she is freaking magical. She could download stuff. I thought you'd like that. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to Two Chicks and a Mic as Salome and I just talk about what's going on in our world. Please remember to ask the question, what is my reality? Hey, universe, show me my reality and show me where it's going to pop up. Show me. Put it on your phone. Have it as an alarm to go off.
DM us with your reality as well. We'd like to learn.
Yeah. Like, what's coming up for you?
Yeah.
With what's coming up for you. Like, hey, you know what? One thing that's coming up for me, my reality is dancing and acting like a total goofball. When I feel like everybody's looking at me, I'm like, okay, everybody's videotaping me. How can I dance and be even bigger? That's my reality. My reality is not sitting down. Thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next time. Thanks, Salome, and we appreciate you all.